But the Red Wing game last night was just fun to watch. I mean, they get goal right away. Larkin's on a tear here. They have real storylines with the Red Wings. Trade deadline's a few weeks away here. Tyler Bertuzzi's on the rumor mill like crazy. They have to figure out if they're going to sign Dylan Larkin. I mean, I think they need to sign Dylan Larkin, but the question is for how much? Because the longer you continue not to sign him, seemingly the higher the price is going to be to get him. And I don't want to let him go in free agency, and I certainly don't want to trade him. I want him here.
A couple points last night. He's got 6 goals in the last 4 games, all wins for the Red Wings. Ticket Texter says Larkin's putting pressure on Stevie Y to give him that extra $500,000. He's a point-per-game center this season. Top-line guy, playing PK power play.
He doesn't have to get paid $10 million a year.
No.
He doesn't need that
But you
money.
can't lose him
But
either.
you can't, yeah. I mean, if there was that weird report that came out last week that said that something basically that Yzerman and his camp and the Larkin's camp, they're far apart still. That Larkin would want $9 million a year and then Red Wings wanted to give like $8 million a year. Yeah. And you don't want to lose a guy for $500,000 if you can meet in the middle. But let's try to meet in the middle here. Let's get it done. And then you have to ask yourself, is Dylan Larkin, is he a $9 million a year player? I think the answer is yes. But if Yzerman's got this plan, the plan is I'm not going to spend more than $8 million on any player on this roster, then I'm going to start to get a little nervous, a little itchy, because I can't, in all good conscience, let this guy go. This guy he's a Red Wing, and he's playing like it really means something to him. It means something to wear the C on his chest and honor, frankly, the tradition of Steve Yzerman. So I'm hoping they can figure things out and do it quickly. But the Bertuzzi situation it's a fluid one, and there's a lot of interest.
If Yzerman doesn't sign Larkin and he doesn't trade him, is this the first time you're going to be like, Stevie, you effed up? Straight up, I don't like this. This is a bad move.
I think, yeah, if you know that you're not going to be able to sign him and then you don't trade him and he just gets to free agency and you get nothing for it, that's a massive mistake.
4 years into a rebuild where you're showing at least a pulse, right? At least a pulse.
Yeah. And
you lose your very best player and your leader in the prime of his career.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Steve Yzerman. I would absolutely be critical of that.
Well,
particularly when you're not a good team. Like if you're a good team
and you got to make
and
tough
you're
decisions.
hanging on to them, right?
Yeah.
I'm hanging on to them because we're making a playoff run and all that. But when you're not a good team, or when you're trying to be on the graphic, I mean, there's no excuse.
Well, because Jim, during the show, I always wondered, like, the Yzerman love is unheralded, right? Like you can't criticize him, honestly. So I was just wondering, how much do you let that? Like, is there a point where you're like, hey, okay, I've backed everything he does, the track record with Tampa, we know the captain, everything, but I've reached my point where, like, hey, is this over $500,000, or do you, some guys have their principle. Like what Gator said, if it's true, we don't know if it's true, but if he says, I'm not paying more than $8 million per for anyone on this roster, that's it. Do you say, oh?
Listen, when you're in Tampa and you're chasing a cup and you want guys to take a little less, I get it. If I'm Dylan Larkin, I shouldn't have to take less than I'm worth at this juncture of our hockey team. I'm not restricting our ability to add players. Sorry, Steve. Like your strategy can't be let's underpay everybody. That's not, come on.
That's the
best way to lose good players.
Does a real captain take a little less to stay?
See, but now you're trying to manipulate him.
I'm just asking questions.
Oh, come on. It's a sob story. It's like, here are your highlights playing, in juniors, and like, here's you growing up in Michigan. Don't leave. Take less. Stop manipulating him. Just pay him what he's worth.